What's up, fishing fam? Welcome back to another Fishing with Gramps live tonight, Monday night. I know a lot of people are expecting to have Tom Brubaker from Lose on with us tonight to discuss all the new launches that I cast this year from Lose and Strike King and Mock Baits. But prayers go out to Tom and his family. Tom's grandfather passed, and yeah, I got with him earlier, and he was still going to come on. I was like, brother, spend time with your family. We'll get you on at another time, and really wanted Tom to be with his family because we all know that day if you've been there, and both of my grandfathers have passed since. I'm a little older than Tom, but I definitely wanted to keep Tom in our prayers tonight with him and his family. But we will have him back on another time. As always, want to open up the show by talking about American Legacy Fishing. If you're looking for rods, reels, gear, all the latest and greatest, AmericanLegacyFishing.com, code GRAMPS10 to save you 10% off. I saw today the brand new, if you're a Shimano guy, the brand new Shimano Vanfords are coming into the shop. Everybody who had back orders, they're going to be getting hit up tomorrow, and there might be some of those 2500, 3000 series left by tomorrow. So if you want to get a hold of the brand new Shimano Vanford, you better get a hold of Kayla, Brian, and the crew at the shop at American Legacy Fishing. And as always, if you're in the Evansville, Indiana area, be sure to pop in, check out the new showroom, all the rods, reels, baits, everything that you're looking for. Maybe not all the baits that you're looking for, but the rods and reels, they certainly have you covered. So tonight, special guest, this fellow that I met, it's only been a couple weeks ago when we were up at the Susquehanna River fishing the Bassmaster Kayak Series event. My first ever Bassmaster event, my first ever trip to the Susquehanna River. Not my first time chasing smallies, but I have very, very little experience. But when I was up there, I met Toby up there, and he was staying a couple rooms down from where we were. And throughout the practice week and during the derbs, we would all be sitting out in the parking lot rigging rods and reels and gear and talking and this and that. And Toby had a story. Toby has a story that I knew the fishing fam would really want to hear, and I wanted to bring him on alive to talk about it. But Toby, you've been fishing for quite a while.
Yeah, a little bit.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into fishing, where you fish, how did you get into Bassmaster? Because that's a pretty good step up from fishing like local derbs to national events. If you would, before we kind of go into your current story and whatnot, tell us about your background, what got you into fishing, how you got started, how you found your way into a kayak, because we focus a lot of kayak fishing here in the fishing fam. And kind of just tell us, how you got into the sport and so forth and so on.
Well, I've been fishing since I was just a little boy. My father taught me how to fish, and growing up just fishing and hunting and living the country boy life.
Mm-hmm.
But how I got into kayaks is my brother moved up. I live in Rhode Island. My brother was living in North Carolina. He finally got out of the military and moved up. And he bought 2 small Sun Dolphin kayaks, which if you've ever been in a Sun Dolphin, you can only sit in one for about 45 minutes before your legs go numb. So my brother was in it.
Red or blue ones?
Right. My brother was in one for about 45 minutes and it almost sunk.
Yeah.
So he gave me the 2 boats, and now they are my children's boats. But I caught probably at least a half a dozen fish over 5 pounds in a Sun Dolphin.
Yeah.
Because the spots you can get into with kayak and where you can launch, you could throw that kayak on top of anything. Throw it in your work truck on top of your tools. Go right out there and fish a couple hours every day before work. So I really turned from the big boats into the kayaks.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that kayaks don't throw the fish in a live well, tote them around the lake, put them in a bag, and then release them all at the boat ramp. They're not dogs. They're not going to find their way home. Most of them just hang at the boat ramp and get caught again. Call them release fish. But my idea of a good kayak, something that you could stand up in,
Yeah.
that didn't come until I started tournament fishing. And John DeCenzo is the guy that approached me and said, "Hey, why don't you stop fishing some tournaments? And, you're doing real well at fishing. Why don't you actually make some money at doing it?" So I gave it some thought, and the next year I joined a couple of local leagues, and I did pretty well. I really got in. I really liked the whole camaraderie. I liked the competitiveness.
Yeah.
But again, I was really new to the sport, so I had a lot to learn, and I love learning new stuff. So I learned new techniques. I learned new baits. I learned so much new stuff within the first year of tournament fishing, and I had been fishing since I was 4 years old. I'm 40 years old at the time. it's, it's like how much knowledge can you cram into your brain in 1 year was insane. But then I started to learn that once you start winning and you start climbing that ladder, especially in my state's so small. Now that I've been traveling and doing these national events, I'm fishing lakes that are bigger than my state.
Yeah.
So once you start climbing that ladder and fishing, there's only a dozen guys within the state that are at that level. And we all stop butting heads. When you stop putting too many roosters in the hen house,
Yeah.
stuff starts going wrong. So that started pushing me from the local tournaments to, at the time, was just in its being born, the KFL.
Okay. Yeah.
And when that was just in its infancy, the first season, when it first started, is when I was diagnosed. And I was diagnosed with HPV 16, which 90% of the time, I believe, a little over 90%, causes tumors at the base of your tongue in males. So they found 7 tumors at the base of my tongue, which did prove to be cancerous, which is called squamous cell, I believe. I believe the correct term for it was squamous cell. And at the time, I was diagnosed with stage 2. So after the diagnosis, they set up a treatment regimen. I had a whole team of doctors. The treatment regimen at first was going to be 3 rounds of chemo, and over the course of 7.5 weeks, every day, a radiation treatment.
Oh, wow.
So now I'm faced with, okay, I just got put onto this team called the Rhode Island Rebels, which is going to be fishing online. They're going to be doing interviews while I'm fishing. I really don't want to miss this opportunity.
Right.
So the first season went pretty rough. As it started, I started my chemo and radiation. So everything kind of started together. And as the season progressed, needless to say, I wasn't feeling very well.
Yeah.
My first round of chemo knocked me down pretty good. I dropped about, I think, 35 pounds within the course of 2 weeks. My second round of chemo was the worst. I thought the day after, I actually didn't think I was going to wake up. That was one of the scariest times of my life. I said goodbye to my family. It was extremely hard. But this whole time, the doctors are judging my energy level and my health by my fishing habits, believe it or not.
Yep.
When this all started, the doctor looked at me and he said, "What do you love the most in life? What do you like to do?" And I said, "Well, I love my children." He said, No. What do you like for you? What do you get the most enjoyment out of life?" And I said, "Well, I just started tournament fishing and I really enjoy it." They said, "Well, I know you can't fish a tournament every day, but we want you to fish every day, whether it's 10 minutes in the morning on the shoreline or you go out for 4 hours in your boat. It doesn't matter. As long as you're fishing every day and you've got the energy to get up and go do it, we know you're still good." So the only days that I missed fishing was the 2 days after chemo, because I just did not have the energy to get up and get out of bed. And if I did, it was to run to the bathroom and puke. But so after the second round of chemo, and now I'm halfway through radiation, now I'm feeling like, if you've ever talked to anybody that's ever gone through any kind of radiation treatment in their throat, you almost feel like you're swallowing glass, broken glass, at all times. So there's no way you can even eat.
Right.
So I know we met at the Susquehanna River, but let me tell you, buddy, I'm in a lot better shape than I was the first time I was there.
Bet.
So the first time I was there, I actually fished that tournament, did all my pre-fishing, and was at a campsite with my entire team for, I believe, 5 days at the campsite, and then fished the 1-day tournament. So a grand total of 6 days with a feeding tube, because I couldn't actually eat. So I actually had tubes coming out of my body fishing this tournament.
Oh, man.
So that was my first experience with the Susky, and I fell in love with it so much, bro. I couldn't wait to go back, just like you're feeling right now. Because it's just a magical place. But so now I finished the treatment, the 7.5 weeks of treatment, and I have the biggest respect for anyone that has ever gone through radiation or chemo, because when the treatment's over, you feel like your brain is telling you, okay, everything's going to get better now. Stuff's going to stop progressively getting better. It does not. Yeah. If you've ever been there, it does not. Now it gets worse. This is the road of hell. The next 3 months after those 7.5 weeks, bro, worst 3 months you could ever imagine. Because every day it's getting worse. It's not getting any better. The radiation burns are taking effect. Everything that the treatment has done to you now is actually becoming a reality. So my body doesn't produce saliva anymore. It produces like a slime. And I don't have the same taste buds as everybody else.
Right.
I probably have now 25% back of where you guys have 100% of your taste buds. I only got 25% of that. And it's not like I just can't taste stuff. Stuff just doesn't taste good anymore.
Right.
So my palate is very, very small. If you notice, when we were hanging out, I was the guy that was never eating anything, just drinking coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee is my one rundown, man. I have to have it all the time.
Yeah, I think many of us live off of the golden juice of
Yep. I absolutely love my coffee. But so I wasn't doing very well in the whole fishing realm. The Susquehanna River was the best event I had for KFL that season.
Okay.
Because of the treatment. I chalk it up to the treatment. I wasn't even doing good when I was just going out fun fishing. I just wasn't producing fish.
Right.
I wasn't feeling well, but I was still going out there. I was still trying.
Now, just to kind of catch everybody up, in case you don't know, and I think I might know a little bit, because the KFL is one where a lot of the states had various teams. If I recall, Indiana had the Indy Knights, and these folks would travel around. And it was a 4-on-4 format, wasn't it? Am I getting
correct?
That?
It was a fun format.
So yeah, they did these live streams where you would have, several of the competitors live streaming while they're on the tournament waters, whether they're home or away. And for those of us here in Indiana, we had like Sam Jones and Mike Elsey, and each of the states had like their top anglers on their KFL teams. So for Toby to even be one of the guys on Rhode Island, it still kind of shows you what that upper level team fishing kind of concept was and is. And how many years was that you guys fished for? A few years.
3 seasons. Three seasons, I think it was.
Yeah. So and I remember catching some of that too, and see our good friend Chad Hoover has jumped in the chat tonight. Welcome, Chad.
How you doing, Chad?
Doing all his stuff and things, getting ready. saw he sent out a message today launching his new Smalley series for 2025, which we all know I'm gonna have to jump into because that's something I just want to get better at.
You got the
But
addiction now.
oh yeah. I mean, after, like you said, after the first time, I can see why the Susquehanna is an addiction. I mean,
Oh my
I've
God.
watched so many people's videos, but you can't really know until you go. And now that I've been, I am more. I mean, you and I were talking about this, even during the week and before we left. But it's like I was driving home and I was already ready to go back. I mean, it's just like I learned so much in a short period of time, but I'm even more motivated to get my own body because we talked a lot about how fishing is recreational therapy in a lot of ways to a lot of people, and even talking about your situation. I mean, you've been fighting this battle for 9 years now. Is that where you're at? If I
Four.
remember,
4.
4 years. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, but you've been in this constant battle, um, and like you said, when I was trying to come up with how am I going to name this live stream, and I was like, "Live to fish" and "fuck cancer."
Absolutely,
that's
brother.
that's literally the best way because while we have guys like you that have been fighting this fight for more than 4 years and continue to fight, continue to fish, it's not always going to put it out of your mind, but I bet for a second when you've got a big 19 of bronze on the other line,
Oh yeah.
your mind's right there. You're not
Nothing
worried about,
matters. Nothing
you know,
matters.
it's a way that we all get out. And so when guys like you and folks like we have in the chat that are promoting fishing as tournaments are fun, and or even we have the best fishing community there is. I mean, it's awesome in the fact that no matter what, I mean, we're all at a Bassmaster event supposed to be competing each other and chit chatting and talking and help, and
Telling
it's
each other
one of those
what's
things.
working and what's not, and where they're
Yeah, I
hanging
mean,
and what they're on.
it's just, I
We
mean,
don't care. We just want to see everybody have a good time and catch fish.
and that's really what it comes down to. I mean, for me, it's like I told everybody, it's like I'm going to completely suck in this tournament. Like I told you, my whole goal was to try to catch a limit. If I could catch a 20, but other than that, I just wanted to catch fish every day. And every day to me, from the first day on the water Wednesday to the last day on the water Sunday, for me, it was a vacation.
Yeah.
And sure, there was a tournament. Sure, there was, I don't know how much they won. I don't care. It was an excuse to go and spend time with a bunch of people who love everything that we do,
Right.
and and kind of share in that too. But I wanted you to be able to come on tonight to talk about how tell everybody what your morning routine is. I got kind of got a crack up routine when you were telling us what you do every day about your work van.
Oh my God. Every day. So I was telling you guys that about the sun dolphin thing. I don't use the sun dolphin anymore, thank God. I got a little the Bass Pro Shops Sen 10T.
Yeah.
So it's still a little small kayak, little sit in. I'll sit on top. I load it on top of the tools in the back of the work van, make sure it fits in there, and I fish for about 2 hours every day before work. I'm up at 3:30 in the morning because my energy, because of the immunotherapy, puts
Yep.
me in bed by the time before my 7-year-old's in bed, I'm in bed,
Yeah,
which
your
is pretty
babies are tucking
sad.
you in, aren't
But
they?
then I'm up at 3 a.m. in the morning every
Yep.
day. So instead of staring at the ceiling until I go to work, why not be on the water?
Yeah,
My
exactly.
wife, my wife actually nicknamed me a couple months ago. She said I'm the morning bite. Because after 9 o'clock in the morning, I don't get bit no more.
And what do you do for a living?
I'm a carpenter. I'm actually a lead carpenter. I run a framing crew.
Yep, yep. So I mean, we had a blast knowing that this is a dude that's got to go to work every day, fighting the fight that he's fighting. And you're not some dude like me who sits in a chair all day punching figures in a keyboard. You're up the crack of dawn on the water, living life, and then putting in a full days of work doing a trade that we still need lots of more people in and doing these days.
Yes,
But I
sir.
mean, you're living, and it's like I always hear that meme when somebody's talking about LIVIN, living, man. Whether you're fighting cancer or PTSD or mental health issues, we always try to spread the word why fishing and being on the water is just one of those kind of therapies that continue to push people to get up, get out there, get on it every day, and just go do it. And so, when I was chatting with you at the lodge, it was really cool to say, I'm sitting there thinking, oh, my back hurts, my knee hurts, I can't drag my kayak, and I'm like, I'm over here crying like a little bitch, and this dude is fighting this fight, but he's up here, he's living his life every single day and just trying to, striving to be a little better too. So I had to tell you when I was driving on the way home, because I lost my mom to stage 4 cancer, a few years ago, and it still hasn't sunk into me. I mean, my father has fought 3 or 4 battles, via Agent Orange in various places, bladder cancer and so forth too, and then come through, he's won every battle he's fought so far. My wife, 2 bouts of breast cancer, and then come through, and then my mom, who's like a total teetotaler, didn't smoke, rarely drank, just one of these plain old, moms,
Yep.
comes down with stage 4 everything and was gone pretty fast. And, I'm not going to say I was spoiled by having so many in our family win their victories and win their fights, but when the most tender person that I know, that I thought would outlive us all, kind of like my grandma did until she lived way into her 90s. And then, I lose my mom barely at 70. And it's just one of those things where cancer is just one of those things that, hopefully, we start seeing the treatments. And, it used to be really nothing we could do. But the fact that, you're able to fight and my wife
Oh,
is
it's
able to fight.
it's amazing the treatments that they have out now.
Yeah.
The one that they have me on now is an immunotherapy that I get every 3 weeks. So
Okay.
I got to go to the hospital every 3 weeks and spend 3 or 4 hours at the hospital. But you
Yeah.
know what? I'm blessed to get up and see my children every morning.
Yes, sir.
You know what
100%.
I'm saying? And
Because every year that they
that's
can
what life
provide
is
that
all about.
therapy.
That is what life is all about. We like you said, we live life now. We
Yeah.
know what that meaning is.
Yeah.
My old boss used to say it all the time to me. You got to live the dream. You got to live the dream.
Yeah.
Well, I finally figured out what that meant.
Yeah, and it's funny too because like I said, I had my first MI at 35, and then the next one a few years later, and your kind of perspective on life actually changes a little bit. Used to care about a whole lot of shit.
Yeah,
when when people think I'm being nonchalant about like being in crisis situations, whether it's at work or this or that, where you're supposed to be all excited and jump up and down and be threatened and worried and blah blah. Nah,
nope,
nah, nope. I think Tim McGraw summed it up: live like you were dying. Because a lot of people think that they're going to get out alive, and ain't none of us going to get that way. I mean, sooner or later, the saying runs
everybody pays
out.
that same price.
Yeah. So whether you're
Everybody,
for 90 years or, we're never guaranteed tomorrow. So live every day like it's, like it means something to you. And,
100%.
and so, when you talked about getting up and going fishing every morning, I was like, yes,
Whenever I saw the number 22 on the side of your truck, JT,
yeah, that was one of the
that's
things
where
that
our
started our
connection
whole
was like
conversation,
instant.
wasn't it?
That's where our connection like hit.
Yeah.
And then what did
And,
I show you? And then what did I show you after I saw that 22?
so let me set this up because this is going to hit Chad Hoover really hard because between he and
Sorry, Jack.
I, 22 is a number that we talk about often. We have a fish ops program on kayakbassfishing.com called Catch 22, and that is, and when you asked me, you said, "What's that 22 on the side of your truck?" And I was like, "Well, that's for Mission 22." And that symbolizes the 22 veterans we lose every day to veteran suicide. And then I said, then, me and Chad Hoover, which, everybody in the kayak world knows, he started the awareness program called Fish Ops on KBF. And Fish Ops, OPS, stands for Operation Prevent Suicide. And it stands for many other things, but that was the first iteration of what that program was about. And so we started a Catch 22 program, which is like it's kind of like a kayak bass fishing training grounds. You can fish from the bank, you can fish from the kayak, but the goal is to catch 22 fish a year. And you make a donation on the website, and for each year it goes to a charity. So, as you know, 22 means a whole lot. But when you asked what 22 stood for, and I told you, and then I kind of explained, all of the how 22 wraps around everything that we do. You go and get your fishing rod that was custom made and tell the folks what 22, the number, means to you, because we were both just like,
So I was a firefighter, and my father was a law enforcement,
yep,
and his badge number was 22. My badge number was 22, and then my fishing number in the KFL was 22. So it's been with me my entire life. Has been 22 wrapped around that number. My custom fishing rod has my father's last name and then 22.
yeah. So when we got to talking, it went from a casual conversation to like 3 hours later
Yep.
about how the number 22 symbolizes so many things in this case completely two different ways, but still based around that same number. So I was
Right.
just like, wow. And it's a number that means a lot of things to a lot of people. But yeah, if for funny thing was just for two dudes that are sitting there BSing about fish and talking about hey, what's that on the side of your truck,
Yeah,
to
why you
oh
got 22 on the side of your truck?
yep. So yeah, that was pretty wild. I mean, it was funny where that conversation led, and then coming in and hearing your story about being diagnosed and then fighting the fight. And then I think that awful disease affects a lot of people, across the country, still does, and probably will for a while.
It does.
But the fact that you're here and able to tell this story, and again, we can both use platforms like YouTube and Facebook and others to promote awareness to either cancer awareness or fighting the fight, or in our my case, preventing veteran suicide or other homeland heroes, because it's not just relegated to veterans. We know police officers, firefighters, the first responders, everybody who had to deal with the pandemic stuff. That wore a lot of people down, and it wore a lot of people out, just everybody trying to fight the fight and doing the thing. But the fact that we're kind of past that now, and we can come on to a live stream like this and tell our stories and reach out to other people and promote, like with you fighting the fight, and us promoting bass fishing as a way to just let your mind drift away from the worst of the worst for a while and actually get out and enjoy it. Because I know we were grinning ear to ear after we were talking, but then we start talking about smallmouth bass and the river, and just even being there, and dude, I honestly, I
Just
love, and that's one thing I love about events like that, because I know I'm never going to go to a tournament and catch them and get them and get on them, and I don't care. I go literally to meet folks just like you and
and
others at every one of these big
how
events,
often are you
because
gonna see a sunrise like that on the Susky?
dude, I mean,
Those things are
that
gorgeous.
that fog in the mountains, I
And the
mean,
mountains in
it
the
was,
background,
oh
unbelievable.
god, it was so
You and
awesome.
the pictures that you see, the videos that you see on YouTube and stuff, they do
Yeah,
nothing. They do not,
yeah,
like, I put a video up the other day of the fog and the mountains in the background and the sun
yep,
coming up,
yep.
and I'm like, I watched the video myself, and I'm like, "You know what? It's not even close to that cool in person. It's
Oh yeah.
way nicer in person."
Yeah, yeah. I caught this one little video where I was sitting on the river with the bridge. The fog was coming through the bridge, and some of those guys that were doing like the rowing team, I can't remember
Yep.
what the song, but I caught one just kind of coming through the fog, and I was like, that was the coolest shit ever.
Yeah.
But I mean, just, yeah, you can feel the, just being out there doing the thing. It's just an incredible thing too. So,
Where
dude,
my
I mean,
strength
honestly,
comes from.
I'm looking forward to doing more events down the road and running into you in different places too. Because I mean, that was just a blast. But like I said, every event that I go to, big or small, you always meet new people, and share the stories that kind of, brought people to get, brought people together. And definitely with all the BS and we were doing out in the parking lot. Can't wait to definitely do that again too,
Yeah,
though.
it's a lot of fun. It is so
Yeah.
much fun.
And so I encourage people. I mean, even if you don't fish tournaments, and you're still, still getting your feet wet and whatnot, just absolutely going and doing these things um is incredible, just because the big community, whether you're fishing KBF or, the Hobies, the KFLs, your Bass Nation stuff that's local around you. There's a lot of local clubs in the States these days. Here in Indiana, we have the Southern Indiana Yak Anglers and others. And it makes it fun because, even if you don't travel nationally, even if you start doing some of the stuff locally when you get started, just meeting other people and you instantly get a whole bunch of new friends real fast, and then you're all
Automatically, you
smack
become part of
talking
the
about who's
family.
catching what biggins. It makes it great. Absolutely love this sport. And I love seeing. I hate seeing what we see so much in the boat world these days, where there's all the division and arguing and blah 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 blah. That's what I love about kayak bass fishing, man. It doesn't matter if you got a sun dolphin and a paddle, and a PFD and one pole, or
You're welcome.
you got the biggest rig.
Yep,
you
you're
know,
100% welcome.
yeah,
So,
100%.
so
It's a
speaking
blast.
right along those lines, man, I run a cancer benefit tournament every year.
Okay,
It's called Kick Cancer in the Bass.
okay.
We're we're going on our fourth one. I don't know. Can you see this in there?
Oh yeah.
So we're going on our fourth one this year, and we take donations for and people that donate are from all over the country. You can
Okay.
buy it instead of buying a ticket to the tournament, you buy a donation ticket.
Now is this like a local thing or an online thing or?
It's a local thing. It's only
Okay.
open to 3 local lakes around in Rhode Island. But someday I'd like to make it nationwide. I really don't know how at this point. I'm still just new all of this.
Right, right. Yeah. Hop on Fishing Chaos or
It
Tourney
does
X
have
or
a
something, try to
Bassmaster
figure out
thing on
there.
my shoulder, but that's
Yeah.
only because we got the cojones to sign up for a couple of events.
Yeah, yeah. I went and got my stickers. I can say I did it once.
Right?
And happy
That's
that I
why I can
didn't
put it on
suck.
my shoulder now. I did it twice.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, I mean between KBF and Bass, I mean it's just a blast to me. I like the KBF stuff because you can fish your local waters monthly. You could fish in the, if you don't want to do the high end stuff, you can do the Catch 22. And yeah, and another cool one is we have what we call the Knucklehead Bass Fishing Series.
Yeah,
And
I
what
want to
that
get
is,
in on that.
yeah, this is my last month, so it's only $25 to enter, and you got a good shot at winning a spot on the team. But I've actually we do 4 1 month long tournaments, and you can sign up anytime. It's not like you have to sign up by the first, as there's no deadline. But then we gather in October on Gunnersville and Wheeler, and so it'll be like my team versus Chad Hoover's team versus Fluke Masters team
That's
versus
insane.
Wendell Fishing, Alex Rudd, John from Creek Fishing Adventures has a team, Bearded Dad has a team, EJ, the former from Jackson Kayaks, who now owns his own brand or another brand, has got a team. So there's several teams out there, Freedom Squad, a bunch of them, and
There's a
yeah,
bunch of you knuckleheads that I'd like to meet. I'll tell you that. I'd love to go out on the day out on the water with Chad Hoover. I think that would be an hilarious day. We do a lot
oh
more
dude,
laughing
yeah.
than fishing.
Chad is a character. He's texting me off on the side here because he and I chat quite a bit. He bounces stuff off me and he's like, "Hey, you got a minute?" And I was like, "Well, I'm actually live." And he's like, "Oh, I'll hop in the chat." But
Okay.
yeah, Chad is one of the most authentic dudes. You know, he's been around this for a long, long time. But
Right.
I'm telling you, go hop into Fishing Chaos and get signed up. If you just type in Knucklehead and yeah, here I did. You know, Chad is 100% will take you out anytime you're around Gunnersville Wheeler. That's his Huntsville, Indiana is his new home, and he's right down there in between the two lakes. And you know,
Yep.
I've gotten spoiled having him 5 hours south of me, so you know, I try to get down there. I need to try to get down there sometime in the next month or two to catch a big, because he knows I've been chasing this. You know, been trying to break a PB of 20 of 21 on largemouth for a while now, and
I broke mine this year. Believe it or
yep,
not, one of those trips before work, I
yep.
got a 22 and a quarter.
Oh man, that's living the dream right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Chad's down there in Huntsville, Alabama. He'll tell everybody, and he's got a really good spot where the new KBF headquarters is, right there at Ditto Landing, and he's right off of the river, but then he's right between Gunnersville and Wheeler too. So he loves bringing, especially guys like you, down and out to go to get on the water. And yeah, he's got a spot called Hero Lake that's kind of special as well.
Right.
That's a private pond, but it's got some tanks in it too.
Oh, those
I'm
are
not
some
even
of the
going to
best
discuss
times.
the I'm not even going to discuss the giant that I lost there last time I was there. So,
You're not supposed to
but,
lose them. You're supposed to stick them and put them in the
oh,
boat.
bro, yeah. Well, you know how sometimes the chatterbait will get them, and sometimes they won't. The fish opens up his mouth, and here it comes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why they call it fishing, bro.
Yes,
Not
sir.
catching.
But that's why we do it too, because every time we're on the water, you never
It's
know
different.
that one hook set could be the one, and that's the biggest one you caught too. So I can't complain. I've been blessed to be able to meet a lot of different people too. But yeah, I definitely encourage everyone to go sign up for Team Gramps this month to try to earn your final spot on the team. And actually, I was talking to some of the Freedom Squad crew earlier. I'm actually going to do a real giveaway to everybody who signs up. This is not for the winner. Everybody who signs up for this month's Knucklehead for Team Gramps, you're going to be in a drawing, and your choice between one of two reels kind of maybe gives you a flavor of what you might be able to pick. Your first choice is going to be a brand new in the box Shimano SLX 70XG. These are great for finesse jigs. They're also great for jerk baits. This one is actually in an 8:2 gear ratio. And this is the new model. This is the one that they just dropped like 6-8 months ago. But yeah, cast smooth like butter. It's kind of the newer version of the 70 MGL, but this is the new one with the silent tune in it. Now, if you don't happen to be a Shimano person, you can also have the option of choosing the Lose Mock Crush. This one is in 7.5 to 1. Full disclosure, I took this with me. This was this reel caught my first Bassmaster uploaded fish, but I didn't put the reel cover back on it, so it took a couple of little war wounds in the rod box, but it's brand new, only been fished once. So if
JT,
you're a
that just
loose
makes it
mock
worth more.
crush fan, 7.5 to 1 gear ratio. Or if you're you can win this Shimano SLX 70XG. Got these, of course, from American Legacy Fishing. So I'll do the old Wheel of Fortune at the I'll do the old Wheel of Fortune at the end of the month when we announce the final winner and solidify the final team. But everybody who pays the $25 to sign up, you're going into that drawing to win your choice of whichever one of these two reels. So you can kind of think of it as a $25 raffle ticket to a reel of your choice as well. But I encourage everybody to sign up. It's, like I said, the last month, and this is to fish and qualify for the Hero Cup, which is down on October 5th and 6th on Gunnersville Lake one day and Lake Wheeler the next. This year, it's a 2-day event instead of a one. Now, for the top 3 finishers for Team Gramps, you win first, second, or third place trophy. Thanks to Catch USA for making these for me. But yeah, I shipped all these out for the previous winners for May, June, and July. I saw Liz got hers and posted it up as well. But yeah, everybody who finishes, the first, second, and third place spot, you win one of these trophies as well. So you Even if you have fished and won a spot on the team, you can still sign up. Just don't put in more than 3 fish, or Chad will he'll have my head. But again, we're trying to get signups up. I think there's only 10 people signed up this month. So you got a good chance at winning a spot on Team Gramps if you want. But if not, you can win a trophy for second, third, or your choice, and the choice of one of these 2 reels if I draw your name out of out of the Wheel of Fortune too. So yeah, that's my carrot for this month's, because we did a good job of whipping Chad's ass last year. And I know he took satisfaction of me beating. Here, Toby, here's what you don't know. Team Gramps actually led the competition. So it's 5 people, best 1 bass per person. My whole team had 18s on the board like within the first hour. And then Liz from Florida upgraded to like a 20. And then I pulled out, I went from an 18 to an 1875. And so we were smoking the field for pretty much the whole day. Then my buddy Darren Wendell, Mr. Ohio, next door to me, goes and catches his PB and cuts into the lead. And with 15 minutes to go, his hammer that lives down there, fishes Gunnersville all the time, who hadn't caught a quality fish. I think he had like a 15 or something on the board. With 15 minutes to go, catches a keeper he needed to beat us by a half an inch.
Oh.
So, yeah, there's, as much as I talk about, I love the fact that we came in second place.
It was close.
I would rather have come back to claim second place than to lead all day to get past with a half an hour to go. But Chad says he ain't holding back this year. So, he'll be he'll be out there putting a hurting on us this time around. But him and Austin were actually rolling around filming a lot of people too. But I'm pretty sure he was trying to catch some fish, because there was a whole bunch of them over in the area they were fishing. And I should have probably been over there too, because I pre-fished there as well. But it is what it is. That's tournament fishing. We were happy to come in second out of all the teams out there. And Chad's claiming that they're winning this. Well, so yeah, here's last year we only fished this on Gunnersville, and it was a 1-day derb. So this year he's really got us by the short hairs, because it's on Wheeler and Gunnersville, and he and Gene fish both, and he probably fishes Wheeler more than Fluke Master does. So I would say if there's a definite advantage, it's probably going to be the Team Chad, but you never know. You never know. But I tell you what, dude, that gathering of all of those YouTube teams with all of their teams was an absolute blast. My buddy Matt brings down his smoker. And when I say brings his smoker is a trailer. So he smokes for like college football teams when they're doing like their, in the fall. But he smoked up some amazing grub last year. So we had a lot of friendship, fellowship. It was an absolute blast. But again, we're raising money for a good cause. We call it the Hero Cup because we're raising funds and whatnot for our homeland heroes and so forth, and promoting obviously bass fishing as recreational therapy for all of us who need it. And and there's many of the YouTubers like Alex Rudd, his cancer research, the Punt organization is who he always represents. So it's going to be a blast. So love to have you sign up for Team Gramps. You can, I think you can fish for 2 of them. So if you wanted to try to qualify for a couple of teams, you can. But dude, I'm telling you, it's
on Tourney X.
Blast. It's on Fishing Chaos.
Fishing Chaos.
Yep.
I'll look it up. I'm going to sign up.
Oh yeah, you just type in Gramps in the box, and Team Gramps will pop right there in front for
Nice.
you.
I'll jump in there.
And then my brother's team's the Freedom Squad. So yeah, he would love to have you as well. Even though it seems like most of his team is being dominated by Alex on the Water and a bunch of dudes from North Carolina. So yeah, it's gonna be one like Indiana boy and a bunch of North Carolina dudes. So
the only North Carolina boy I can tolerate is my brother. So
there you go. There you go. But yeah, it's on Fishing Chaos, and it's an absolute blast. It's only $25 to sign up, but It's a hoot. And then when we go down there for the Hero Cup in October, it's absolutely incredible. We had such a blast last year, and it's going to be even bigger this year because there's even more teams in the mix. And then every year it'll just keep growing and growing and growing. But it's an absolute blast. Well, dude, I'm not going to keep you much longer. I have talked my talk. My throat's getting raw, and I've still got videos to edit because I'm way behind on getting caught up. But brother, it was really good talking to you again. It was a pleasure meeting you down there again, and I can't wait. I can't wait to actually go spend some time pre-fishing and sit on the water with you somewhere and just go run around and
Absolutely.
chase some of these big fish.
And actually see each other catch fish and not talk about it at the end of the day.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I keep saying I'm going to follow people around with the camera and whatnot too, and I'm going to start doing more and more of that as well. But you know, it's an absolute blast. But Chad's going to drop a link in the chat, and then I will again post that in the video description below for anybody watching who wants to get in on the Knucklehead Bass Fishing Series. Because whether you're a beginner or somebody who just likes going and fishing for fun, you know, it's the same as like a monthly deal. It's, you know, any public water. Except you're not limited to your own state with this one. You can actually, I got a buddy who travels in Indiana, Ohio. He goes over to Illinois and fishes, you know, power plant lakes. So you're not limited to just fishing in Rhode Island. Wherever you happen to be, public water, boom, just like anywhere else too.
I
So that
drive
makes
45 minutes, JT. 45 minutes in any direction. I leave the state.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah. So yeah, yeah, your state is small.
I told you.
All right, brother. Well, again, it was a pleasure having you. I will let you get back to the rest of your day. And man, I can't wait to be on the water with you again soon.
All right, brother. It was nice talking to you.
Tell everybody where we can find you on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you're at, and promote your tournament one more time.
Yeah, well, the tournament is called Kick Cancer in the Bass. You can find it on Fishing Chaos. It takes place in September in Rhode Island. If you can't make it, you can donate. There's $10 donation tickets that you can pick up. And you can find me on Facebook, Toby Bonoyer, Instagram, Toby Bonoyer, and Fishing with Toby on YouTube.
All right, and I'll link all those down in the description below when we get done, and we'll go ahead and get out of here tonight, folks. Love talking to new people. Love bringing new people to you guys to meet and follow. Make sure you check out Toby's channel on YouTube. He's doing the stuff and things while he's out there. As always, get outside when you can and make some memories. One cast at a time.
Have fun, boys.